What's up guys, Nosy Boy here. So many of you are fans of my character concept videos. Every video that I upload, if it's not a character concept, I get at least like 3 or 4 comments, which for me is a lot, saying, hey Nosy Boy, where's your next character concept? Are they coming back? I really want to see them. That's what I subscribed for. I hear it in my Discord. We have entire sections of the Discord designated to concepts and to character concepts, and I figured I would bring a series to the channel to please you between concepts, because they take a lot of time, from finding footage of each move and animation that I mention, to coming up with a playstyle and abilities that have synergy, and then coming up with star cards for each ability. It takes a ton of time. However, I figured I could at least give my 2 cents on characters already released and grade them based on their design. Let's get started with Count Dooku. Count Dooku is the latest villain in the Battlefront roster, and honestly he might be the most well-designed Battlefront character of all time. Unlike Obi-Wan, who launched as a weaker character with little unique utility, or Grievous, who launched without functioning abilities, Dooku launched with powerful and functional abilities and a really interesting moveset. His first ability is unique in the sense that it's a pseudo stance change, the whole arm behind the back aesthetic, classic Dooku pose to start it out, and more fluid movements are enough for this to be his best looking ability, but he also gets additional damage for every lightsaber swing. When this ability is active, he should one-tap every infantry soldier except for heavies, but those guys are always too busy drooling on their controllers to be any threat anyways, so who cares about them? And I call it a pseudo stance change because a normal stance change usually just allows you to stay in that stance permanently, or until you as a player decide to switch back. This ability is on a timer, however, but that's just because it's a major buff in addition to the change in lightsaber stance. For a second ability, we get my favorite in the entire series. Count Dooku takes a page from episode 2 and uses a lightning attack in a cone. This one taps everything except for our drool covered buddies, and anybody that isn't killed is sent into the ground a la Obi-Wan and Anakin in their first fight with Dooku. It's the perfect combination of faith to a material and utility. Because it's a knockdown, it gives Dooku a chance to buff himself for free, depuff his opponent for free, or just get a free lightsaber swing. I appreciate dice steering clear of harder CCs like stuns with these recent characters, and I appreciate embracing CCs that better work with the kit and flow into his other abilities. Finally, we get to Dooku's debuff. This is probably his best ability thinking objectively. He points his lightsaber at you and magically you just take more damage from everything. It's the perfect ability for heroes versus villains, where you and your team can decide on a priority target, debuff them, and delete them. With both this debuff and Dooku's buff activated, team fights are a lot more like 4.5 versus 3.5 than 4v4s. It combos wonderfully with the rest of his kit, adding to the damage of his buff and being set up by his knockdown. Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure even our drooly boys get one tapped with the debuff and buff both activated. If not, they definitely do when you hit them in the back. And oh god, one tapping a drooly boy feels so good on any character that can do it. With these 3 abilities, Dooku plays a pretty dope role that we haven't seen in Battlefront 2 before. A lot like how Grievous introduced this kind of assassin role, going in and doing tons of damage before retreating away with absurd mobility for a person that size. Dooku acts as the go-to 1v1 me bro character. Locking in Dooku is the same as picking Fox on Final Destination with no items on in Melee. If you lose a 1v1 with another character as Dooku, it's because you played badly. He has all the tools needed to take out another hero, even somebody like Chewbacca. So one of the playstyles you can adapt with Dooku is straight up focusing a player and keeping them out of the fight. With how Battlefront spawns works, once you die, you spawn on the other side of the map, far away from your team. A skilled Dooku player can say, sorry, I don't think I want you to play this video game right now, maybe next time. If you target a key member of their team like Yoda or Chewbacca, the enemy team fights are also going to be crippled. Alternatively, Dooku works really well as a team fight god. With every fight between good teams in HVV being 4v4, Dooku is really good at weighing the odds in your team's favor as much as humanly possible. As I said earlier, with the proper debuff placement and strategy, as well as Dooku's great crowd control damage and buff, Dooku can make it feel like a 4.5 versus a 3.5, or even a 5v3 depending on the team comp and other factors. If you don't want somebody playing Lone Wolf Dooku, which I think is viable whenever Dooku isn't target, keeping Dooku attached to his teammates like he's Popo's Nana with good AI is just as, if not even more viable. Of course, there are other ways to play the character, but in my opinion, these are the two utilities he brings to the table that nobody else in the game can. Let me know in the comments down below another playstyle you like to use as Dooku. I really like seeing how people adapt abilities into their game plan. Nobody else can bring his 1v1s or the silly way he can lean fights to the table. This is something only Dooku can do. And in addition to all of this, he's just fun. Dooku exists in a game filled with clunky and awkward lightsabers, so being the smoothest out of everybody is a huge deal. I think it says a lot about Dooku when I'm seeing the character people cared about the least do better in lobbies and show up more frequently than both Obi-Wan and Grievous. Whenever someone picks Dooku, they always get top 5. When they're good, they always get number 1. He's just one of those characters. And if this dude debuffs you, has his buff, and hits you in the back, I'm pretty sure you'll never fucking walk again. DICE knocked it out of the park with the Earl, and as for my rating, I have to give him an A+. Dooku should be the standard, all other characters are balanced too in Star Wars Battlefront 2. If you guys like this idea for a series, make sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, join the Discord link in the description, and follow me on Twitter. I appreciate all of those things as much as you can appreciate anything. Stay tuned for more content coming in just a couple of days, and I'll smell you guys later.